All right, welcome back. Officially 1 week in to living on my own, chasing independence. No safety net, no parents, no support, etc. You know? And a week ago, I was terrified. I had no idea if I was making the biggest mistake of my life or not. And here we are 1 week later, and this was probably the best thing I've done. you know, in terms of growth, in terms of my mental health, my physical health, like just my overall like well-being, like clarity and feeling like myself, you know? And now that I actually have like a space where I'm not constantly being like judged or controlled, I can form my own identity, you know, and I'm not like letting other people put labels on me or like letting other people kind of dictate my life anymore, you know? And yeah, I mean, so we can start with this whole notion of like whatever's been going on in my relationship for the last little while, right? So like she called me again today, and like of course like I'm happy she called me. Like I love hearing her voice, and um it's been far too long since the last time we spoke, you know? But so yesterday when she called me, she was like, "Yeah, like get your job back, etc." And like I know it's coming from a place of care, and like she wants me to be stable and like not be like stressing about money or like stressing in general, right? Like she wants me to be like well, and like that's the thing, right? So like she had brought it up, and then I was like, yeah, I'll go tomorrow, so today. And then she had said we'll see. However, the day before I had mentioned like no, I wanted to like spend 7 days like building my business, but I guess like we were just caught up in the emotions and like the heat of the moment, so that like we just forgot about that. So I told her today, I was like, look, listen, like I can go back and get that job, but like if I do that right now and like the driving motivating like factor is like for something other than like my own choosing. Like if I do this now just because like I told you yesterday I was gonna do it, even though like we both know that it's not the right time for me to do this, or like if I just go and get this job back because I'm like telling myself, okay, like I'll have this like safety and security that I can like show to her and like we can like get back together. Like in the end, even if that's the case, like I would end up resenting her for that, and like I don't want that to happen. So like I explained this to her, you know, and like I'm not saying like yeah we're gonna get back together or like any of this, and like I feel like maybe she had thought I said yeah like we're gonna like, get back together if I go and get my job, you know. And I was just saying like it's like the psychology or like the thought process behind why I would go and get that job. Like right now, if I was to go back to like my car sales job, it would purely be for like people pleasing tendencies, right? It's not what I want to do. It would be like just like a quick band-aid solution, right? So like first of all, if you are like an actual entrepreneur, like it's very hard to go and work for somebody else, especially like if you feel like you're more competent than the person like above you, like it's very hard to like want to like listen to them or like go and do work, right? Plus like if I'm doing something, like I want to do like all of it and like to the best of my ability, right? So like and it just like that's not how a job works. Like a job is like you go and you do like the bare minimum and then you clock in clock out, right? So it's like a completely different mindset. And like look where I'm at in life, like yeah, I need to have like a income, but at the same time like if I don't try and like build my business over the next 7 days first and see like what I'm capable of, like I will, I don't want like, okay, essentially, I don't want to end up like in a life that I didn't pick, right? So whether I end up in car sales or not, like I have to come to that decision myself, right? So for the next 7 days, like the plan is build this business. And if I don't sign a single client within 7 days, so next Wednesday, then it's time to transition, right? And like as much as like I could tell from like the subtext, if I had gone today and like just got my job back, like things would be moving towards like reconciliation between like me and Mina. But the thing is, like if we're supposed to be together, I'm at a place now where like I'm content and I'm at peace. And it's like, look, if we're supposed to be together, like we have to do it right. And like for that to happen, I have to do this right now, right? So like I have to like slow things down and like focus and like figure out who I am, build my own identity, and like in the meantime, like yeah, we can get to know each other again, like as people, because I think we kind of just skipped over that whole part, you know? Plus it's like a never ending thing and like I've become a different person and I'm sure like she's become a different person, so like we would have to get to know each other again, you know? But yeah, I think people in terms of like business, they like think it's so much more complicated than it actually is. And like starting a business is very simple. And like if you think about it, you know, when they say like, oh, 90% of businesses fail, I think it's because people miss the fact that it's so easy to start a business. The hard part is having a good business or a business that actually generates money, right? Like anybody can start a business, not everybody can actually make money with a business or like maintain a business, right? So really like what do I need to do for this week? I need to finalize my offer. I need to build a website. I need to build the demo product. So the MVP, like the minimum viable product. And then I just got to do a bunch of cold calls and like cold emails. And yeah, like I mean, if I do 200 phone calls, I will probably book 5 demos. And if I book 5 demos, I'll close one client. So I mean, 7 days, it seems pretty feasible. And you know, if in 7 days I don't sign a client, then yeah, okay, I will go get a job so I have some income, and then all of my spare time I'll put into building this. You know what I mean? So either way, like I guess now that I'm like discussing this, I'm realizing like this is what I'm doing either way. So it's just a matter of kind of doing it, you know? And yeah, and like I appreciate that like she wants to give me the kick in the butt that I need. Because I definitely do need that. But at the same time, like I can't let anybody else rush my process or my timing. Like I have to do things my way, right? And yeah, I mean, of course, like I can like I know that she's like, bruh, I'm tired. Like, can you just get your shit together? And like is like just waiting around for me and like it's super unfair of me to like have her wait. So like I'm ready to like finally get my shit together, you know? But again, like it has to be on my terms so I don't end up like resenting her or like, you know, blaming anybody else for my choices. So now I'm realizing like the main thing is like making my own choices, not being like influenced by outside people. So like anyone other than myself, I can't let them influence me, at least for now. And yeah, like form my identity. And like in terms of forming an identity, I think it comes down to like experimenting. So like trying things. It's like this whole concept, like people are like, oh, I don't like sushi, but it's like they've never tried sushi, right? So until they try it, they don't know maybe they'll like it or not. So I'm like thinking like what did I enjoy doing when I was like a kid? And then like attempting to like do that again. But at the same time, like I never used to like reading as a kid too much, I don't think. Actually, no, that's a lie. But I definitely did not like to be writing as a kid, and like that's something I'm really enjoying right now. I also did not like being like physically active, but that's something I'm enjoying now, you know? So yeah, I'm like on this journey now, I guess, of like figuring out what I like. So I went to this networking event today, and part of me used to think that I like networking events, but I went today and I was just like, why am I here? Like, this is so boring. And like, I don't want to talk to or meet any of these people. And then like, sure, I had a few like good conversations, but like majority of that event, I was just like, yeah, this is not like worth it, you know? When I had initially gone, so like I went to the last event and it was more so just to like be like social. So I was like, okay, yeah, like it's good. Like I need to be social. So like I'll go to this next event. So I bought my ticket. But like yeah, had I not bought that ticket so in advance, I would not have gone today, considering like traffic, weather, etc. You know, like there's so many other things I could have been doing. Better use of my time, like filming this video instead of filming it now at like the end of the day at like 9 o'clock. You know, but yeah, I find networking events like, in all honesty, like if you're going there to like make friends, kind of worth it because like you're meeting like-minded people. If you're going there at the intent of like getting clients and stuff, big waste of time. Um, you know, and like the people who attend these events who are actually like doing good business, I've noticed they're not really there to like meet people or like make friends. Like they're there for like one or like two reasons, or like to support the person hosting the event and like not handing out business cards, like not telling people what they do, like you know what I mean? And like those are the people that you actually like should want to get to know or like become friends with. So yeah, all in all, like I don't know, I'm like reevaluating if I want to keep attending like networking events, you know? Um at least for now anyways. There's just so many other things I could be doing with my time. And don't get me wrong, like it was a good event, and like I'm just in a completely different like headspace now where like most of these things that like used to bring me joy, like I'm just kind of over it, or like I've realized that like I was doing it for like the wrong reasons or like seeking validation, you know? So yeah, it's cool, it's interesting, you know? Um it's funny to realize like how much I've grown as a person in the last week, you know, really in the last few months, but even just like the last week. That's why I think it's important to like document your life. Um, and that's really, I think, why I had initially been like, yeah, let me document my like restarting of my life for the next 90 days, you know? So I feel like everyone should probably document their life, even if you don't like post it, just to like have it, you know, like a logbook of your life. And it's cool to like go back and like look at the older videos, right? But yeah, I mean, key takeaway from today is before you can bring somebody into your life or like be in a solid relationship, you really need to be in a solid relationship with yourself. You need to know who you are at your core, right? Um, you need to be at a place where you have so much clarity and like you trust your intuition so much that like you never ask anybody for advice. You never like second guess your decisions, and like you thoroughly enjoy the life you have and like you don't regret any of like the choices that brought you to where you are, right? And in terms of like building your identity, you have to really like take space, especially from like people who are putting labels on you, like, and like your identity becomes like talk about this event, right? So you go to this networking event and somebody's like, oh well, what do you do, or like who are you, and like these people are like telling me their name or like what they do for work, and it's like, is that who you are? Like is your entire soul, your entire being just your name and just your job? Like is there nothing more to you as a person, you know? And that's what I'm like realizing now, even like about myself. Like my identity has always been like, oh, like this is my job, or like I'm like Instagram famous, or like any of these like stupid things, you know, or like I'm so and so's son, or like I'm so and so's boyfriend, right? So like my identity had always been like determined by these external things, or like even objects, right? Like when I was 21, like I had that Range Rover, and like that became my identity, you know? So now it's like cultivating the identity from inside, you know, like really seeing like what's like lights my soul on fire, like what is something that I enjoy spending my time doing, instead of just kind of filling the time with all of these like pointless things that don't like bring any real joy or value to me, you know? And I think this ties back into this whole notion of like not being so online anymore, right? Because like everybody at this event was like, "Oh, what's your LinkedIn?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not on social media." And like people are so like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And I'm like, think about it, like people are just so obsessed with living online. Like there was a few like speeches at this event, and like everybody like had their phone out and filming, and it's like, who are you filming this for? Like to post online to like virtue signal to people that, oh yeah, it was some networking event, like supporting charities and shit. Like nobody cares, dude. Um, you know, like just be present, live in the fucking moment. Like what are you recording everything for? And like Yeah, so I'm just like so over all of this, and I deactivated my like personal Instagram yesterday and like a few other things. I gotta deactivate my like other Instagram account. It's just like I couldn't remember the password. And yeah, so I'm pretty glad with the direction of my life right now, and I think I'm gonna stay offline, you know, and yeah, just kind of keep exploring. There was a whole point to what I was saying before about like not being online. I just kind of forgot it though, you know. It's been a long day, feeling a bit tired. So, yeah, I guess to recap, initially things will seem way harder than they are. When you're in the moment, like everything feels very overwhelming, but I promise if you just take one step forward and like keep walking, eventually you'll make it to the other side, right? And it's like, let's say you're in like a very dark room or like a cave or something, and you can only see like 1 foot ahead of you, right? So what do? You take 1 foot, now you can see a foot ahead of you again. So now you take another foot, right? You keep taking 1 foot at a time, and like even if you can only see 1 foot ahead of you, by the end of it, like you'll be outside, you know? You just have to be willing to take that first step. And yeah, it's terrifying, and you need to have a lot of courage. And I think you only really develop courage by like running towards things that like scare you or terrify you, you know? And that's really what life is about. It's about like stretching yourself and like continually growing, right? So yeah, I'm I'm definitely glad about this whole move. Definitely starting to feel more like myself, starting to feel centered, starting to like build my own kind of identity, stepping back into kind of like my masculine power, not letting kind of the world sway me or like people's emotions kind of take over or like defaulting to like people pleasing, like just being like, no, no, and holding firm. And like it's pretty friggin' hard, man, especially when it comes to Mina. Like, I literally just want to never lose her, or like I'm just always trying to impress her, or like living my life in a way that like I feel like is in accordance with what she expects from me. And yeah, like it's super hard not to do that. But I'm realizing it's like fear that like I'm gonna lose her. And I've kind of gotten past that fear now. It's because like I keep reminding myself that look, like you come into this world alone, you're gonna leave alone. Like nothing in this world is yours. Like I guess really I was trying to like own her, right? Whereas like now I'm not really trying to like own her. It's more of like I just enjoy her presence, and it's like let's just share whatever little bit of life we have left together, you know? So yeah, I mean, I had no idea I would ever have these kind of realizations, but they're very profound, I guess, at least to me anyways. And it makes me laugh when I think of like all of these like alpha male type guys. Uh, because like all this shit they say is just garbage. And I guess I've realized that like most of these people who are like alpha male, they're just like traumatized little boys, and like they've never actually like held like a woman that like loves them, or like ever had somebody that like it feels like a soulmate. They're just so traumatized and hurt that they think that like, yeah, I'm gonna be macho and alpha, and like I'm gonna go around and like destroy and like break all these girls' hearts and like sleep around and do all this like shit, and like it's so amusing to me now to like look at this and be like, oh, like the reality is these people are just like hurt and like they don't know what they're missing. And like I don't blame them, like with the way the world is now, and I think that's part of why like I've like tried to cling on to this so much and like just didn't want to like loosen my grip to the point where like I was the one suffocating it, without even realizing. But yeah, let's end it on that note. um you know we will see you guys tomorrow. Damn, it's gonna be a busy day tomorrow. I got at least get my MVP like started, if not built. Like my offer is already finalized, you know. So it's game day tomorrow, and let's see where I end up a week from now, right? Like, inshallah, like I'll have one client signed by next Wednesday, and if not, like it's cool, you know. Old me would have been stressing out so much, but like now I've learned to kind of let go of control. Obviously, like I'm not saying like just fucking hang out and like wait for shit to come to me. It's like tie your camel but have faith in God, you know? So do your best, and then whatever's out of your control, leave it up to God, you know? So we ended on that. And I appreciate you guys who are tuning in. You also noticed I deleted all the clips from here. We're no longer being clipping, you know? And who knows, maybe tomorrow I'm gonna switch to my BlackBerry. I charged my iPod, it's fully charged, you know? So I'm slowly transitioning back to like an analog life, or like decentralizing my phone, so like I'm not just glued to one phone and like giving that much control to one device, or like letting it have that much information about me to the point where like it's influencing me and I'm not even sure if it's influencing me, you know what I mean? But that's like a whole other topic. But yeah, I mean, I guess before we end this, even though I know I've said like okay, it's over, we'll end it on the note of like the one good thing that came out of this whole networking event today was proof of concept's been validated. Like there's definitely demand for this, and I'm still early enough that like most people are like, what the hell are you talking about, you know? Whereas like there was enough people there doing like social media marketing or marketing agency where like it's like I understand now, like that is saturated, it's oversaturated, and like it's 10 years too late, you know? When like Ty Lopez came out with like here in my garage, that was the time to do social media marketing agency, you know, or at least start. So that was like 2013. So we're like we've missed that boat big time. So I think AI agency is like the trend, or yeah, the trend for like online business, you know? And like there's always different kind of trends like every year for online business. And if you catch the trend early enough, like you'll make money. It's just that like a trend doesn't necessarily like sustain for that long, right? So like AI could be a bubble, but again, like I'm just doing this really to like prove to myself I can build a business that's going to generate cash, and like I don't have to like stay stuck in this, you know? Mind you, like the final vision of this, like I have the white paper written, so I know what it looks like, and it's like way beyond what the watered down like light version is that I'm starting with, like the MVP, you know? And I guess that's the other thing that's like kind of fucked me up along the way is like the sequencing, right? So I'll come up with like a cool business idea, but then I try to execute the whole thing instead of like starting with like a smaller version and then building up into the bigger version, right? Most people can never even like see the end vision, whereas like I'm very like capable of like thinking of like multiple things at the same time and then creating like the large like the end goal vision, right? And like all of the pieces that get there is just like the execution or like the sequence of like where do I start that becomes overwhelming, you know? It's like if somebody gives you a horse and they're like eat the whole horse, like I'm gonna try to eat the horse in one bite, whereas like the way to do that is you eat multiple small bites, right? And then eventually you eat the whole horse. So yeah, I mean the validation of the idea. So I guess really like I know this is what I should be doing, and I've just been kind of delaying. Initially, like the excuse was, oh, like I can't work in this environment. So now that I have this new environment and like I'm settled in, there's really no excuse, right? Like the first 7 days, like sure, I needed to get settled in and like have like a routine set and like not be waking up feeling like anxious and like having anxiety attacks like every single morning, right? So the last 3 days, woke up no anxiety. Now I'm at a place where like my brain is actually working again. I can hear my like self talk and like I can see my thoughts clearly again. So now the next 7 days is like just a sprint, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you again for coming to my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you. Peace out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.